This is your daily market review for Monday, January 30th, 2023. Let's go.
Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well.
This is Dan Max at XP Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is your daily market recap for Monday, January 30th, 2023, the second to last day of the month. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you've been paying attention. Again, market's choppiness. We talked about potentially end of month lock-in with profit taking from the market makers and big institutions. Well, hello. Well, the reason, again, why we talk about it, if you're new to the channel, back to basics. Where is it? Sorry, I just thought about it. How to trade the last and first 3 business days of the month. It is important. It's window dressing, markups, profit taking, a bunch of different things. But anyway, back to the point. Oh, there it is. Boop, 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 boop. You got to be aware of what's going on. You got to be absolutely aware, because I think this is the thing that's so hard right now, is that the average person doesn't understand sentiment. They don't understand the market makers trying to take the most amount of money from the most amount of people, and they're always trying to be right now. There's a bigger game being played here, and just be cognizant of it. So if you're in shorts, trade around your positions. If you're in longs, you probably should be taking more profits than not. This bear market is not over. I will repeat, you do not see bear market bottoms until the VIX does what? Gets at least over 50. The highest we had was 38, if I remember correctly. That's not enough. Not enough. And now again, this is more of, as I've said literally said since last year, I think this is going to be a prolonged bear market. It's going to be a trader's market. So if you're long, congrats. We had some longs previously, went to shorts, looking to add more shorts on any pops with stops. Have risk management, be thoughtful, be smart. Ultimately, you're not looking for certainty. You're trying to identify the best probabilities and then execute them with stops and risk management. Know how much you're willing to lose. Again, it's having like interesting conversations with newer folks who say, well, I'm going to buy and hold for the next bull market. You don't know how low the sucker can go. When the market flushes, nothing is safe. So again, if you have to buy and hold stuff, it just doesn't seem smart, because I look at it this way: like, there will be leadership that will emerge from the bear market and or won't drop as much, that commodities that I believe will be the much easier long-term play than trying to catch the flushing market for what it is and picking names in particular sectors of tech or whatever that's ultimately led before. I don't think it's coming back. All right, if you're new to the channel, you want to join the Discord room, link will be in the description below. Again, I'm not trying to be mean, but if you jump into the room and you don't get involved immediately and say hello, say what you're here, what you're trying to do, because again, I try to help people. If you're just coming to follow me on Twitter, follow me on YouTube, that's easy. But if you're really trying to learn, take your game to the next level, that's the goal here. Again, just, you're not going to figure it out through osmosis. You got to be involved. You got to ask questions. You got to be willing to be humbled by the market and be taught by others who might know people. Because I really appreciate everyone who's involved in the board, all you guys, because you're always trying to reach out and say, this is what Dan taught me, or this is what someone else taught me, and this is what makes sense. And I started realizing it when I did this. I started understanding I didn't know this. And it's like, yeah, the market is meant to take the most amount of money from the most amount of people. And if you are not aware of that and you're just doing the same stupid crap over and over and thinking like, oh, I'm just going to show up and get rich, it doesn't work like that. Again, I apologize. Twitter, I just got an email from eSignal. They've had issues with Twitter compatibility. I can't post my charts. I have to post from the stock twits first, and then I have to copy and paste them, and they just don't look good. I don't like the way they're looking. They just, I don't know. They look grainy. They look small. I apologize. I don't know what else I can do at this point. Wait for eSignal. I think they had an update, or Twitter had an update. Something happened. I apologize. I'm always trying to post charts and what's going on. Please follow. Hit me with a message if you have any questions. Again, please subscribe, like, follow, whatever. Get notification bells. Did a live review today. Probably going to do multiple this week because it's that important of a week. Because you got a big earnings in the morning. You got a bunch of economic data. Then on Wednesday you got the FOMC. You got Meta after hours. Then Thursday you got tons of tech. And then Friday you have the non-farm payroll. It's going to be a hell of a week. And it's starting to look more bearish than bullish. But I wouldn't be surprised by, a rally at some point, counter rally. All right, Bitcoin, said this earlier in the live review, I don't trust it. And it's the same thing as like I don't trust gold. Like, I mean, we can talk about, you can give me any name and I'm going to say I don't trust it. Oh, but this, and that, stage 4, 1, 5, 5, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. I just, again, if the market flushes, nothing is safe. I've learned that lesson, and I don't want to bag gold. I'd rather sit here and watch and sit here like a sniper and wait for prices to come to me. And if something doesn't come down, great, I can catch it later. Bitcoin, I don't like that setup there. That looks like a tweezer top, if you know what that is. Tweezer bottom, same thing. It's two candles of the exact same size, the one on the right engulfing the left, potentially. That looks bearish. We've talked about this. Bitcoin is probably in the time correction phase of trading. Remember this blow off? It took years. Well, here you go, 2021. I mean, we're still in plenty of time. This could be the notice volumes too. Not really there. Oil. Scott in the library was asking, does it look bearish to you? I said, yeah, it kind of looks like an M top rolling over. And we said again, evidence of things that look bearish to me. I thought oil would start rallying here and the Feds would get in a pickle. Again, I have no position in oil. I had some really nice ones in XOP. And then what? It's starting to roll over. Now, how low can it go? I don't know. I've got some ideas, but if the data gets worse, economic data gets worse, how low can oil go? I think there is a floor because of supply constraints, but I don't want to guess. I would like to let it play out. Natural gas, we've said, this has been an absolute widowmaker. I mean, I know, and again, this is the thing. Everybody on FinTwit is saying this is a good buy-in level. I don't think anyone would argue that it's oversold. The problem is what do we talk about? Like gold when it bottomed, was it in November or October? I will get the gold in a second. The only reason why I bought it is because it chopped and made so many lows that eventually just everyone got pissed off and gave up on it. And then it rallied. I still see people saying, well, it's time to buy natural gas. Time to buy natural gas. Well, if the market's going to roll over, do you really want to buy natural gas? Maybe it rallies in the short because the shorts are squeezing it up, but is it really the best trade? Probably not. The dollar, red alert. We closed over the 8-day and the 10-day last week. And then today, eating it up. Now, again, you got to get over some of this resistance in the 20-day. I don't know if the dollar could rally back down or drop back down to the 27s before the FOMC or with the FOMC. Again, just keep it on red alert because if the dollar starts kicking up, telling you the market's probably going to get a little nervous. TLT, we've said the yields are starting to go higher. TLT lower, makes a lower high. Could it get to the 200-day? It's right there. It would be a double top, maybe. M top. Again, interest rates go higher. Market ain't going to like it. And I'm telling you right now, the Feds are playing a tightrope game here, right? They need financial stability, and they need to look like, reasonable when trying to stamp out inflation, but they can't afford higher interest rates. So it might be one of those things where, I've said this in many times, they jawbone the market. They raise a quarter point here. They say they'll raise a quarter point, but they'll continue to jawbone the market. And will they actually raise rates later in the year? No one knows for sure. VIX. Here you go. Talked about the 18 was a gift. Nice gap up, hits the 20-day, pulls back. Not surprised. We told you up here, if the market could not confirm with the VIX going higher and breaking down, that we'd roll over. Roll over we did. And then we said, don't be surprised too if chop, because there's been so much selling in the fourth quarter that it might just get caught in the chop zone with the SPY. Well, here you are. Now the SPY hits close to a lower high, potentially here. Retest, whatever you want to call it. Breaks out of the channel, comes back down. This doesn't look bullish. Caterpillar misses tomorrow. Data starts looking worse. I'm telling you right now, if you bought the market on the last day of December, early January, you were taking your profits. That's a huge move. 10%. That's your year. Done. Game over. Institutions, big money going on. We're done. Look at the volume increase today. Not a terribly amount, but doesn't. Again, I would not be surprised if this is the start of a rollover. But I also could see it chopping up high. So how do you play this, right? People are like, oh, you sound like you don't know what you're talking about. Well, again, I don't believe in certainty. Stop that. You got to stop that crap. Well, all right, if you started shorting up here, trade around your position. And if it goes higher, you stop out. And if it works out, you let it roll. And there'll be times, there'll be add-on points like we talked about this morning, 405. Can't remember who in the Discord room was like, oh, this market's bullish, be careful. And then it boop. No. I don't believe it is. I think, again, QQQ hit the 200-day, got above it. Double top. Be careful. IWM, talked about it lagging, right? Watch out. See what happens here. DIA. Now this has been lagging like crazy, right? Hits a trend line. Sorry if I'm making all these sounds, but I have my Kramer buttons. No, I'm just kidding. It's just that. I'm not surprised that we got up and are pulling back. So does that mean it has to roll over? I don't know. I don't know for sure because there's way too many things coming out. But you roll the TLT rates rolling or rip going higher. Dollar starts bottoming. The VIX bottoming. SPY fails at trend lines in major zones. The Feds come out and say, just like they said in December, we do not anticipate rate hikes this year. They say that again. Or sorry, rate cuts. They said they don't anticipate rate cuts this year. If that's the case, I'm telling you, the market is going to get a little soft, a little quick. Think of it as like the market was given Viagra and now it's being taken away or not given the opportunity to use the Viagra correctly. All of a sudden, like the kids roll in and everybody wants to hang out and party. And it's like, uh-oh. The market was like getting ready to roll up. Boner. And here, fail. The market in general, not gold. But again, here's another thing that we pay attention to. Gold. Talked about the, 1950 area, GLD 180, whatever, 178, 180. I anticipate gold to pull back before the Feds. After that, I have no clue. Could it retest highs and then fail? Could it just dump? Could it rip? I don't know. I've got a short position that I am comfortable with as of right now. I'm not too concerned. Again, if we drop quick before, I'll probably take some and then roll out and see what happens. Or just let it ride. Because I still think that metals, again, typically struggle in the second quarter. And people go, you're not in the second quarter. I get that. But even then, they look like they're ready to pull back. And here's more evidence why. Silver, chop zone, looks lower lows, lower highs. Is that bullish? Now people say, oh, it's flagging. Okay. I mean, no one's going to argue that. But at this point, it's not confirming breakout. Can we just admit that? Doesn't look... it doesn't look great. It doesn't confirm it. GDX, here you go. I mean, and we'll talk about the GDXJ in a second. Hits the upper zone, below the 8-day. Uh-oh. Here comes the 20-day, 31. Watch it. Dust. If you bought it sub 11, bought it around 11, whatever, you're cooking. You're cooking potentially. GDXJ, here you go. Closes near the low of the days, breaks the 20-day. That's not bullish, y'all. AG, here's another red flag. Again, I mean, if you're watching these recaps regularly, you get it. You watch the evidence. Why the hell does AG look like absolute crap since November? Doesn't make sense. AEM, earnings coming up. Be careful. Gets up to the I'm surprised it got up this high. Got into the upper range. Again, never shorted this one, but that doesn't look bullish. Newmont, which now I agree. This one is a short. Newmont sucks. This candle, remember, that's the New York Stock Exchange mistake. Gets to this range. Yeah, you like all the sound effects. Now it looks like it's rolling over. If it breaks the 200 day, I mean, it could be a little bit of a bear trap near term with the Feds, but it just doesn't look right. It just doesn't look like PAAS. Gee, wow, I didn't realize it was down this much today. Yeah, here you go. Hits the trend line 200 day. Better hold the 20 day. AMD coming out with earnings tomorrow after the close. Uh-oh. Intel, you spoiled the party. Remember, I've said this 1,000 times with chips. Once they die, they die. It's dead. Leave it alone. Arnold. If it's dead, it's dead. Or I guess that's what's his name? From Rocky. Yeah, whatever. It's dead, it's dead. I'll remember his name here in a little bit. But here you go. That's not good. NVIDIA. Down 12 points. Does this look bullish to y'all? Because remember we talked about like it loves to end with like what looks bullish and then just turns around and makes you look stupid. Right? Here you go. All right. That, to me, does not look bullish, y'all. We'll see if it plays out with another retest, but you got to the range highs. And congratulations. Again, we talked about you could buy it down here and rally it up. I don't think it's going to go higher. SMH, right? Love to see the 243s close enough for government work at the channel highs. If you bought Soxus near the mid to low 20s, I think you're not complaining. Taiwan Semi blows out. Oh, come on. Shh, there you go. It's resistance. I mean, could it somehow get up to 106? I doubt that highly. Everybody and their mom producing chips. I mean, this thing's gone from 60 to 93. 98. Doubt it's sustainable with what's going on. Adobe's filled the gap, if I remember correctly. Yeah, filled the gap. Looked above it. Is that a trap? Do I smell a bull trap? Watch out, Galaga. Spew, spew, spew. If this thing fails, that could get ugly quick. Apple talked about, earnings coming up. Don't want to see it rise into earnings. So if you're bullish, this actually is probably better. Could it get to the 200-day at some point after hours or post-market Thursday? Possibly. But look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, like 15 green days, and all these red days were just one-day events. Now you're making a lower low and a lower high. Do we get follow through tomorrow? Good question. Amazon. ChatGPT. They got the AWS for that. Hits the 100-day. 100-day matters. We'll see. Again, we talked about buying it down here. Nice trades. Happy for folks if they please take profits. But you never know. They're like, now my investment horizon's now 2 years out. Okay. Whatever. CRM gets some investment. Big passive I don't know if passive activists. I can't remember if it's activists or passive investors putting in money. Gets over the 200-day. Things that don't look that bad. But ultimately, here's the question, right? Do you want to chase it? You want to chase it? I would probably not short it, but I wouldn't chase it either. Guggenheim. Double top. Uh-oh. Hits the range. We talked about choppy, sloppy action. Here you go. 2.0. I don't know. Meta. Finally, the TikTok crap is over. I mean, again, I think TikTok's just eating Meta's lunch, so they're screaming for a ban on it. Which, again, Chinese affiliation, all that crap. Do you not think they're Meta's not tracking you? That whole reasoning of TikTok and the Chinese are tracking you. Meta's tracking you. Apple's tracking you. Every Google, they're all tracking you. They're tracking my microphone. Hello? Did anyone? Did I lose? No, just kidding. Not surprised. We'll see what happens. I mean, again, it makes sense to short up here. Microsoft, crap earnings, pops to the 200-day after hours. Look at this gap down. Uh-oh. Retro raggy. Not bullish. NDAQ, we talked about this being the most easy epic short ever. Terrible earnings. Pops back to this trend line. Doink. I mean, I'd love to see it higher to short, but if you're in it, congrats. If not, it's okay. It just confirms death to tech. I'm telling you, people don't see it. Whatever. Do your own homework. If you've been following, you still don't get it. You just don't get it. MicroStrategy talked about resistance up here. Got to it over the 200-day. I guess it's not really bearish until it breaks the 200-day. Netflix, you're welcome. Talked about watching what happens when it got up into the 350, 360s. Fills the gap. I mean, this is people what are you looking at? This is so much resistance in this area. I mean, the stock just doubled. And more. Netflix is a dinosaur, y'all. You're invested in dinosaurs. Competition is endless. Costs are continuing to rise. Roblox, talked about this as a great trade to buy in the 26, 20 to 8 range. Boom. Now what? Compressing under the trend line. I still think they get bought out at some point, but I can't be a hypocrite and say, it's a bear market, I can ignore it. No, I can't. Or a bull, if it was it's a bear market, I can't ignore the action and say, I just have to buy it and go. No, I'll let it play out. If it doesn't, great. Tesla, thank you. Again, I hate sounding like being mean, but thank you for Solomon for trolling on Tesla. I mean, you literally trolled over the weekend on this candle. We told you watch this zone. I mean, could it get to the 100-day? It doesn't feel like it, but I said this many times. You don't know earnings, you don't know the reaction, but let it play out. Well, if the market now softens up, this thing could come right back. And I've said this many times. I thought 200 before, below 100 before 200. I also said many times before, this thing trades at a multiple that's just insane. Doesn't deserve it. In a bear market, you won't. Again, in a bull market, you get insane multiples up. In bear markets, you get insane multiples down that make no sense. Right? Think of Shark Tank. Kevin O'Leary trying to score a deal. That's the kind of stuff you see in bear markets. People come out of nowhere to offer nothing for these places, for these names, and you have no support. No one's gonna pay for growth when there's no growth. Does that make sense? U.S. Steel got earnings coming up on Thursday, chopping up here at the highs. Kind of seemed to have followed Nucor. Nucor had their earnings gapped up, new highs, not really continuing, coming into resistance. Is this a lower high? Again, I like materials long term, but I think if the flush comes, they're all done. VALE hits the long term trend line, backs off. Right? Emerging markets. Arrow, copper. Everyone was so excited about copper. Starting to get tired. Doesn't look that bullish to me. CCJ holding up pretty good. Uranium names. Said watch the 27, 28 range. Watch it. It matters. This area matters. I don't know if we'll break out on it. I personally think we're actually going to fail, but we'll see. Other materials names like CF, Mosaic, NTR, AA, they don't look right. Doesn't look good. Feel the gap. Talk to me. Mosaic, same thing. Kind of holding up right below like the 100-day. Remember, this candle's bull crap from the New York Stock Exchange errors. I wish they would fix these. It doesn't really look that great. NTR gets up into the low 80s. You can't be excited about that action. You make a new high, long wick, then you gap down and you close at the lows. I mean, it's got more days down in my opinion. AA, been on fire, right? Fire. Guides down. Remember we talked about taking profits up here? I mean, I still think there's people holding out. And I'm like, all right, I don't like this action. Now it's just holding here around 50. If it breaks 50, here, got your alarm set. Set your alarms. Wake up 41, 42 area. Whew. Moving fast, trying to. XLF. Financials, talked about. I don't think they're going to break out, y'all. Markets start to roll. These are a great short. FAS shorted this around 86 and change today. Love it. JP Morgan. Rallying back, chopping. I mean, this was a blow off. We'll see. Morgan Stanley hits the channel highs. Backs off. Doesn't look that great. Goldman gets a nice little rally. Oh, wow. It only closed up 3 points. It feels like a blow off. Near term, potentially. We'll see. Again, I don't trust those names. XBI has been holding up really well. Oops. That doesn't look bullish. Again, things that are starting to look a little bearish. Now, again, just keep in mind, do not go nuts shorting down markets right now. Look for up markets. Look for any uptick. Uptick rules in play. If that makes sense. TAN. Solar. Yeah. All right, lower highs. Come on. Let's see that lower low. ENPH. Man, this thing's been absolutely slaughtered. Do you think it could rally? No, it can't. Sedge holding up. Again, if you want to take a stab at this, it makes sense. First Solar, gotta love it. Gotta love it. Hey now. Lower high, opening, close at the lows. Again, we talked about trading around this monkey. It's a little sloppy, choppy. It's not easy, but when it rolls, it's gonna roll. If oil and gas roll over, you think solar's gonna hold up? No. Speaking of oil and gas, look at USO today. That ain't pretty. Now, again, the market might argue, oh, that's good. Inflation's coming down. Okay. No one will argue that, but let's see if the market holds up. Nat gas, again, if you bought UNG, I don't know what to tell you. It's so ugly. So hard. I don't like hard trades. I mean, that's why we pivoted so many months ago. Let's just move on. XOP, this is, again, oil service gets up in the upper range, gaps down, closes at the 200. Stay on the live. It better hold here. ExxonMobil, we talked about this, hitting the monthly all-time highs at a trend line. You know what I'm talking about? Here. That's that same line. Hits it. It's in yellow. Backs off. Not surprised. Better hold up. Oxy, SM, my man, Xavier. Professor Charles Xavier. Nice short, man. Double top, gap down. I mean, I think you got room down to 61 after that. I don't know, but it could roll your trade. Roll your trade out. Right? Take profits. Again, on your next, if you have to hold some, and then whatever you add, take time. Give yourself time, whether stock or longer dated options, and then try to roll out of the shorter dated ones, if that makes sense. PX Dizzle? These nuts. It doesn't look good. That's not what you want to see. I mean, it looks like the XOP just chopping. Not that excited. EQT will end it here. that doesn't look good. That just doesn't. Actually, let's end it on HYG, because we like to look at corporate debt. What have you noticed? Tried to break out, lower high, little gap and go, ski. Good luck. Good luck. Be careful. Now I know the futures are rallying after hours. Cool. Don't really care too much. And again, from this point now, Tuesday on the Wednesday, you better take profits, but also just be aware. Let it play out. Let it come to you. Okay. If you feel like you have to trade, that's the market. If you're not in at the right positions, you're going to regret it. If you're shorting SPY 400 or buying SPY 405 or doing things out of position because you feel like you have to do them, I'm guaranteeing your results. And they're called losses and they're mistakes. And it's really simple. You got to be more patient. Now, again, if you got to be the day trader, you got to always be in. You got to be. I'm telling you. Think about it. Think about Livermore. Go fishing. Not every day is the best day to get into a trade. And if you think it is, and you're going to somehow master that, there's guys that do it well. But you just keep in mind, you can't have a success ratio ultimately that is flawless when you're trying to predict the market all the time. The more you try to predict it, it's kind of like sand, as I said, gripping sand. You can't hold on to it. So the more you try to always predict the market, the less likely you're going to be right, because there's too many factors, way too many variables. So less is more, simple is better. The hard thing is usually the right thing to do. All right, I appreciate everybody. I appreciate the donations, the love, support. Thank you, Drew, for your friendly beer donation. I will use that on an edible. Oops. Anyway, and just please be thoughtful, okay? I'm telling you right now, the market is in this position to just destroy people. It's going to absolutely destroy people who are too bearish, too bullish, probably more likely bullish. But again, you don't know the reaction. So if you have to play anything and you're taking profits, be patient. And if you miss out on part of the move, it's better. You can't go broke with profits. But if the market retests and the market plays the level game, and you're able to add back after taking nice profits and paying yourself, paying your taxes, taking your kids out to the movie on Tuesday night, maybe Wednesday night, whatever. Did I say movie? Who goes to the movies? Do something fun. I'm telling you right now, you got to learn to be comfortable with the unknowns. You have to be comfortable in your own skin with not knowing what's going to happen, but knowing that you can trade around your positions and knowing you have a plan to react. The market pops, you short it. The market dumps, you take some profits. And if the market doesn't do anything, you just wait. You just wait. I hope this helps, guys. I appreciate everybody. I know this is hard. And that's the thing about the market. You want to be great at trading. You want to understand the markets. Well, you can't do what everyone else is doing. I'm sorry. That's just not how it works. Think of your favorite sports athlete. If he did what everyone else does to get to the top, well, guess what? Those folks don't get there. You have to be willing to put in the extra time, effort to learn and unlearn. I wish everybody was a whiteboard that I could just imprint upon. Don't do these things. Things that you've been taught were wrong. Your financial advisor doesn't know crap. He literally just sucks 2% off of your account every year and pretends to act like he knows what the hell is going on while he plays golf. And then whenever you call him, he goes, "You can't predict the market, Bob." Those people, I'm telling you, they don't care about the market. They can't predict the market. That's why when I got into finance, I'm like, how come no one knows what happens with the market? Oh, boy, you can't predict the market. You don't know what's going to happen next. The market's unpredictable. Okay. Well, then how come somebody is always killing it and then other people are just getting market returns or destroyed? Somebody knows something. The goal is to be the somebody that knows something. All right. I'll talk to you guys and gals later. I appreciate everybody. Be safe. Love you guys. When in doubt, minimize your losses. You can find gains later. Don't hold on to trash. Peace.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.